Okay, we are live. Welcome to our Wednesday afternoon homebuyer seminar. We do this every week on Wednesdays at 5, sometimes at 4. To be honest, we're busy. We do our best to be on time. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate on the internet, along with my friend and colleague,
Yes, Patricia Castillo.
Patricia Castillo. How you doing? And our good friend and lender,
Shannon Horton. Nice to meet you guys.
Shannon the lender.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had a last name, Shannon.
That is my last name.
I didn't know. I just thought it's the lender. I thought maybe your dad was Joe the lender and your mom was Mary the lender and you Shannon the lender.
Yeah.
I had no idea. With the fancy microphone, you got the fancy little light there. What's going on?
Man, we're trying to up the production, man. We're trying to up the production.
We're not
That's
trying to.
got
You're
my
doing
little
it.
office. I got two little chairs and just trying to find a real estate loan sign, but again, that didn't work out. So just real estate it is. That's fine.
So if I wonder how the market is, I'm exhausted watching Patricia Castillo between open houses and what is going on with you, lady? You're like all over the place. What's going on?
Well, the open houses have been very busy lately. A lot of active buyers out, and what I noticed this weekend, it was just really apparent to me that a lot of these buyers don't have adequate representation with their sometimes with their financing and with their also with their realtor. I had a lady that was interested in the property that I'm selling in Southgate. She lives on the street. She's been renting for 20 years. And so she decided to make an offer with a realtor that was recommended to her through an acquaintance. But she knew absolutely nothing about their time frame, their contingency. She said they were in escrow for a month. I said, "Well, why aren't you closed yet? A month, is a long time already to be in escrow. I mean, it's fairly, I would say, like standard, but sometimes you can close earlier." And she just had no idea of where they were at in the process. And so she said she didn't even like the house. Her realtor was kind of, pushing her into that area of South Central, making an offer on this property. So she ended up canceling the escrow, and she's asking for her earnest money back. She said she hadn't. She spoke to her realtor to confirm that they had not removed their contingencies yet. Apparently, there were tenants in the property that they're still waiting to vacate. She doesn't know anything about the tenants, what their status is, if they're moving or not. And I said, how can you do business like that without educating your clients on where they're at in the process and what's going on with their purchase? So,
Wow.
so I have an offer from her on this property that I'm selling in Southgate, and that's truly where she wants to live. So I hope she gets it. I hope she's the winner.
It is crazy how, as a listing agent, you see how other agents run their business. And,
Hmm.
sometimes generally, I like to think our companies are cut above, and I think that there's some truth to that. But I got to tell you, when I see them from a small independent company, and they'll tell me how they like that they don't have much overhead, nobody's paying much attention to them, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to fill out the forms. They don't know how to use the documents to protect their customers. It's really
Right.
unnerving.
Yeah, and so when the realtor finally called me to connect with me, she said, "I'm going to go ahead and send you an offer on your listing." She ends up sending me an offer for a completely different property somewhere in LA with a different agent on there. It wasn't even my listing. It didn't have my name on it. It wasn't the right property address. I said,
Wow.
and so, the customer had called me. She had my information from the sign on the for sale sign on the property. And she called me and said, "Did you get my offer? Because I don't trust that the realtor even sent it to you." And I said, "Well, I have an offer, but it's not for this property. And it looks like you guys signed it. So you also have to read what you're signing, right?" A
Of
lot of times
course.
buyers are moving quickly and they're just in the heat of the moment, they're signing things quickly, but they're also not reading. And so she said, "Well, I didn't even notice that." I said, "Yeah, the address is at, the top of page one of the actual purchase agreement." So we've been going in circles, but, I felt bad for her because she's a first time buyer. There's a barrier there with, language barrier. And the realtor is not really stepping up for their clients. It's like she just wants to collect a paycheck. And she's not sending in the proper information, right? And it's just a mess. But I think they finally got it together. So it's amazing how many people are out looking for homes. They have outdated pre-approvals. Um, they don't even know what a proof of funds is. I mean, something very basic, right? That's showing that you have the money in the bank for your earnest money deposit and for your final down payment. So it was a very busy open house. I must have had over 100 people on both days.
Wow.
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 Hmm.
Good for you. Yeah, I think it is interesting how, there's a saying that when the tide goes out, you see who's not prepared. I think it's a famous
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway's oh, no,
Warren
blank.
Buffett.
Warren Buffett, and when his more talking about in business, when business is going up, everybody's busy and everything gets overlooked, and then when business slows down, and so I think what's happening now is I can tell you as a listing agent, on one of my listings, we had a bunch of offers, but I would say of the 13, 3 or 4 were real, and 3 or 4 were like, why are they even in the business? They don't even know what they're doing. It's just a clown show. And they think they're going to trick. Now, maybe they do trick other agents into getting an escrow and taking advantage of the customers. But I look at it as I was attempts to do something deceptive, and I catch just little basic mistakes. And you ask them a question, they act like, "Oh no, I don't know what you're talking about." And I think you got away with that 6 months ago, a year ago, and everything was going up in value, so it didn't matter. But in your case, imagine buying a house that you don't like. 2, 3 years ago, you would have bought it, closed escrow, and resold it for more and made money. Nobody cared. Now,
Right.
somebody's not going to close escrow, and the seller's going to get hurt, or they are going to close escrow, and then they're going to perhaps sue the agents for not doing their jobs properly. And so, we all have to kind of make sure we know the fundamentals, and that's where I think this is the market that's good for professionals like us. Hey,
Absolutely.
Shannon, I know that there's been a little drama in the mortgage industry, and there's a big threshold. We were slightly above at 7.03, and now we're slightly below 6.99 in terms of the Fannie Mae rate and Freddie Mac rates. That doesn't really make a difference to buyers, that insignificant of change, does it? Does it? I mean, it was going to get noticed in the press, but does it really make a difference to people buying houses today?
No, I mean, I think it doesn't make too much of a difference, to be honest with you. I mean, rates are not as volatile anymore, which is a good thing. They're still adjusting as we see, but it's for the most part, staying steady until that first rate drop, hopefully this year. But again, like I'm telling everyone, just be prepared for things, the way they are right now. Get yourself in. Don't wait for that moment because again, it's going to bite you in the butt later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually seeing one of the scenarios I got this week was someone actually asking me about an assumable loan for the first time. I know everyone was kind of talking about, oh, you can assume a loan, but I finally had someone kind of ask me some scenarios about it. And for any of you first-time homebuyers out there, there's certain loans, I think FHA, VA are the more common of the two, that you can assume that loan if someone has a lower rate. The big question is if someone, let's say, has a loan for 300,000 and they're selling it for 400,000, just, to give simple numbers, where's that $100,000 difference going to come from? And it's either going to come from one, you guys, funding that difference out of your own pocket, or two, getting what's called a home equity line of credit, which we can do to actually fill in that gap. So you still have to qualify for both that assumable loan and the home equity line of credit, but that could be an option for you guys if again, that seller is willing to do so. So maybe a good question to ask would be, hey, is that loan assumable? But then again, the seller might not even want to assume it to you. Again, there's a lot of factors that deal with assumable loans. I know a lot of people are asking me right now about those. They are possible. It is doable. Doesn't happen every day, but it is doable. And this, again, you have to ask the seller if their loan is assumable and if they're willing to do that. And number two, get with a lender to get you a home equity line of credit for the difference in whatever their loan is to the purchase price. And you never know, the numbers might work in your favor to where you're paying a lot less, even with that home equity line of credit down the line. And then, down the line, once the rates go down to where you want them, you can refinance and lump those two loans together. So just a little FYI for anyone out there looking for an assumable loan. That's a little bit about how it works. Again, there's a lot more going into it. It doesn't happen every day, but for any of those that are asking me, yes, it is possible to do.
I haven't had anyone assume a loan on any of my listings. Have you, Bill, recently?
I've never done a listing where the buyer took over a loan. I've had opportunities, and I've
Mm-hmm.
explained to sellers a couple times where I thought it was an opportunity they could monetize. I should say wraps. Um, I've never had a loan. Assumable has to be built into the loan, so I've never had that. I'm not sure I even
Mm-hmm.
checked for it. There are a couple times I looked to do wraps, meaning the customer had a loan and buy it subject to that loan and make payments. And there's ways to do that. It's legal.
Seller financing, right? Right. Or,
Well, kind of, but really, it's not seller financing. There's an underlying mortgage in front. So maybe a seller. There's a lot of. It's interesting how many articles are on the news about sellers stuck because they have low mortgages. Let's say at 2.5%. So you imagine you have $1 million house and you owe, $700,000 at 2.5%. If you sell it and buy another house, now your new mortgage might be at 6.5%. You're going to pay a higher rate. Well, one thing those sellers can do is you can sell the house, and let the buyer take over, make the payments on your loan at 2.5%, and you can charge them 6.5% for that money, pocket that difference, and then use that to, in essence, finance your payment on your new loan. Now, it's complicated, and people say, well, there's due on sale clause. Well, in my experience, the lenders don't call it unless you're late. I've never seen it happen. And there's different ways to protect the seller and the buyer in those circumstances. There's insurance, there's different procedures. So I think that unfortunately, it's not a very well-known concept. And when you bring it up, my experience when I bring it up to sellers is it just sounds like hocus pocus, and it sounds so unusual. Nobody else told me they ever did that. Well, it's true. That's because most realtors don't know it's an option. It is an option. I think it's growing. It's very small, but it's growing as an option. It's when that any seller has a low rate and wants to sell, but for their mortgage rate, I love talking to them about helping them try to figure out how to do that safely, legally, and minimize their risks. So, but as far as assumable, no, Patricia, to answer your question, I've never done a listing with an assumable loan ever. I've done seller carrybacks, but I've never done assumable.
Sure. Yeah, I think those are more
yeah,
common.
yeah, exactly. It's not too common. I do get people ask me from a video they see on Instagram or whatever the case is every now and again. This is the first scenario where it may or may not happen. Let's see, but they definitely asked me, hey, what would be the scenario if we were to do it? The first time I ever got asked. So we'll see.
I have buyers who'll say, do I have any loans that are assumable, because they saw on some sort of a thing that it's a way for them with bad credit to get a property. And what they don't tell you on those is that usually you're going to pay a premium as the buyer to get that unusual circumstance. And so there are companies that are set up that, like, same with a lease option, like lease to own, same thing. Yes, there are companies that will do a lease to own, but you're paying a premium to that company and all the realtor commissions and the buy and the sell. And at the end of the day, and that's why those never grow past a certain point, because once they get enough business, buyers look at the price and say, well, it's just too high. Why would I pay that much for that property when I could, when if I just save some money and pay down my credit and improve things, I could go that route. So, but I mean, there comes to do them. They kind of, that's a thing that kind of comes and goes. Seller financing, assumptions, lease to own. In these market transitions, all those tools become, available, and to a smart agent in the right circumstance, they're great tools. But
Yeah.
so where's your pulse in the market, Patricia? Where are you at? I know you got some listings. Are they in escrow? Where are you at in your process?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm closing one tomorrow. I opened an escrow yesterday on a condo in Long Beach, and I just I did the open house for this property in Southgate that was very, very attractive to a lot of buyers, and that's because the parking in that area is so condensed. It's so tight. The streets are very narrow. This property is owned R3, so it has a really expansive lot. So I did pick up a couple of buyers there that needed some help, just navigating the market, seeing what their options are. And so I'm happy to connect with them, new clients. And I took a listing for Reseda This is a beautiful
Nice.
property that I wanted to share today. You can probably find it online, Bill. Don't go on my website. It's going to ask you to register. Um, but this is a 4 bedroom, 3 bath, and it's been completely remodeled. The outside is
Well,
very
hold
low
on.
maintenance.
Let's put up in the MLS, or I'll pull up on I'll pull up in the MLS. That way we'll get your
Okay.
information on it. Hold on one second.
The outside is low
Uh,
maintenance because they installed turf. And so it has nice turf all the way around the home. It has RV parking, and it's offered at $1,088,000, and it's got a lot of really nice features: updated kitchen, new flooring, fresh paint inside and out, brand new windows, dual pane, so you don't hear a lot of the noise outside. What I love about the home, though, is it also has a dual entry, so you
well,
don't
hold
really
on.
see
What's your address? Let me pull up real fast.
18925 Satakoy Street. You don't really see those features anymore. The dual entry, double entry. I love that in a home.
Huh.
And it's got a balcony outside of the primary bedroom upstairs. So it's big enough where you can even put a little patio set there.
So let's bring it up.
Yeah. 18925 Satakoy Street in Reseda. I actually used to live on Satakoy Street many years ago.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's the backyard, and that's turf that you're seeing there on the side. Um, there's a enclosed screen room in the backyard, and so you can have your al fresco dining there without actually being outside. It's surrounded by screens and windows, so you get plenty of fresh air coming in. And then there is a bedroom downstairs as well, next to the screened in room. And then upstairs, there's 3 bedrooms, and you have high ceilings in there, custom
look
lighting.
at kitchen.
It's not showing on your screen. For me, it just looks like it's stuck on the
Uh,
first page.
oh, I don't know why that is. Okay,
It
so
looks like it's buffering on my end. Can you see it, Shannon?
No, I see what you're saying, Patricia. I think maybe he opened up a new
oh,
window,
because the MLS goes to like a sub
a new window, right?
yeah, for security reasons or whatever. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go to
so let me.
Redfin.
I don't want to. I'm a realtor. I should have to go to Redfin. Redfin's a fail. That means we didn't do our job. Somehow we should have this. Let's see here.
Just for purposes of this call right now.
No, I don't want to.
He's gonna get it right now.
He's going to keep struggling.
No, but I'm
So, yeah, the
struggling.
lot size is over 7,000 square feet, and interior living space, we're looking at almost 2,000 square feet. And so it's just a really, really nice place. Really
Patricia, do you see $1 million homes? Do you see, is that some people's first time home purchase, or is this usually a second or third purchase in
This
your
is more,
experience?
well, for first time buyers. I mean, I would say the most uh, common price point, is somewhere between like 5 and 750,000. But this is more of an upgrade. It's a huge house, so usually first time buyers don't have, you know, they might have one kid, if that, one child. But I think this is more for a step up, an upgrade. So that's the dual entry there. Really pretty house. That there's a slider there in the dual entry as well. That's all turf. Brand new wooden fence surrounding the property. Electrical fireplace and brand new garage door.
Man, that's beautiful.
This is, yeah, it has a really nice kitchen
Wow.
island with white quartz countertops.
Are you gonna have an open house there and a barbecue in the back?
I should have some food, right? It's going to be too hot to barbecue. I'm going to be there on
No.
Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Look at that kitchen.
It's beautiful. Has
Get the
a double
cool.
range,
Make some tamales there.
double oven. That's right. We can get the assembly line going.
For sure, this is perfect for the assembly line of tamales. I've seen that work out. I got 5 or 6 people there just pound away making them.
Hmm.
Beautiful. And
Yeah, and
that's why.
that's
So they get made there, and I'll sit here and I'll eat one. That's perfect.
yes.
Look at that kitchen.
It's
Yeah, it's
so,
beautiful.
4 bench seats.
yep, it's amazing. And it's just a really nice open concept, completely updated. Has a really nice, just a lot of nice features to it.
Barely over $1 million. So the listing price is one
Million
million
88.
88. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, that's like next to nothing these days.
I know.
You get a lot for that price in this home.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to list a 17,000 square foot vacant land that we lease trucks to for $1.5 million. So $1.8 million for $1.088 for a house like that. Saticoy, very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you wanted to get going here, but did you say any last words here? We got your open house on Saturday and Saticoy.
Right.
Call you for details. What else you got going on?
So I keep getting calls on the Southgate house, even though I put it on hold. Realtors are asking me, why is it on hold? Why can't we show it anymore? So it's on hold because we're looking at offers now. But no, my advice to
Oh, you do
buyers,
that? Whoa. That's interesting. So when you are considering offers, you put on hold and don't take other offers in?
well, we have very strong offers right now, and the sellers want to open escrow pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So
but
we're looking at opening escrow.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and they're living there, so it's to get showings in. Yeah, I've been showing the property all week, so
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But today's the day.
Oof.
Today's the day that we're gonna pick one.
Okay. We did that last night on one of my listings. We took got an offer accepted on a property.
Hmm.
Where was that one at? In Anaheim. Anaheim listing.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you have that going on, and you have your open house on Saturday, and otherwise, when he wants to get a hold of you, how are they best get a hold of you?
My cell phone 323-365-9909.
And Shannon the lender, who surprisingly enough has a last name that's not the lender, Shannon Horton, if somebody want to get together with you about questions on financing or getting ready for their loan purchase process or when to get started or had questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Of course, yeah. The best way, same thing, my cell, 661-317-8484, or they can look at me on Instagram, fund, F-U-N-D, with Shannon.
Fund with Shannon. Not fun.
Yeah.
Fun is his OnlyFans page. Fund with Shannon is his lender's page.
Yes.
That's a joke. Okay. And I'm at Bill Gross Probate on social media, and we host this every Wednesday afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock or so. We go live on YouTube, and X has been a great platform for us, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you have questions on there, reach out to us or put them in the comments. We'll get back to you. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys.